Yeah, hi there. It's Brennan Um, I'm working on this, vast technology, philosophy type stuff. It's really sociology. It's quite mechanical in the sense that that's how we eat from mechanics. You know, if we didn't have mechanics, we'd go starving, right? Um, so, um, so I'm working on basically this concept. It balances out the sociology part, which is like finding these rare elements, right? And the other part is the balancing part is basically the future sort of engineering designs that are revolutionarily simple, very zen-like. Okay, so they're very simple stuff, and something like the the simplicity opens up doors to like all kinds of functions. So form and function. So if you keep the form very simple, the function therefore has it kind of goes 360. It sort of has all of these things, and then going 360, you might get a little dizzy, but you look at there's that one degree of separation. That's like the geographic, cultural. I mean, everyone knows someone from another country through a few different degrees of people they know, but people actually grew up there. That's a completely different thing. So that's like this 1 degree that's basically holding up the rest of the world. Okay, it's like just the thought of it makes you think blank thoughts. Okay, just a clean slate type of wishful thinking. Um, so I'm not sure what I was going to say here, but I got these notes, and so basically for a long time I've been wanting to do this grand sort of story picture. This is sort of like the whole future, all logic, all sort of realities, with all these highly simplified technologies. This is, by the way, when I lose my courage, I have a little olive juice, and boy, I feel like it's salty, but it gives me that sort of Pringles drive, you know. Salt, yeah, salt of the earth. Mm. Ooh, pineapple juice is good too. Okay, so don't have any. Um, it's too red, it closed. Okay, um, yeah, so sociology is this very fundamental reality. You know, very. But fundamentalist is sort of like terrorists are often fundamentalists, right? So, you know, 9/11, and there's also a cultural sort of, you know, not racial but cultural strata. That, they say, oh, culture, that means like the left and the right, but geography is really this thing where you can balance those cultural sort of, mm, it's saying something is terrible is really ignoring it, or demonizing it. So you have to have the balance there on the level where you're looking at your thoughts and you're seeing, eye to eye cultural norms and being, allied to that balance and stability, that um, preemptive, proactive social ecology that is fundamental. Okay, so it's not something we think about because only terrorists think about fundamentalism. Okay, so that's why we need this mechanical sort of system to comb out these. Say you have you're combing the wool. All right, so it's like you have um, a tiny percentage of of stuff that shouldn't be there. Like, you know, you're combing your hair, maybe there's something in your hair, you have to get that out of your hair. Basic sort of, unless you have dreadlocks, in which case you have to actually dump it in there, I guess. So that's like this paradigm of cultural fundamentalism, sort of sarcasm. But basically, in general, people do comb their hair and or clean it, you know, you clean the foreign stuff out. It's not functional. So I mean, you can do something all fancy and stuff like that and feel very esteemed and say, oh, this is an upgrade. And this is some sort of this is desire, you know, putting on a hat, you know, you're putting a feather in your hat. These are desirable sort of not fixed, not like a piece of gum stuck in there. So that's what like a net is. It's like something that's very small, but then it's just like fundamentally um, preventable. Okay, so it's like a net that sort of keeps the bugs from sucking, or, you know, from biting you and doing who knows what. It isn't fun. It might make you mental if you think about it. Um, so this whole sort of system of this mechanical sort of, you know, a vacuum. So you go into the future in sort of an escape shuttle. You're allowing the future to escape so that it does not rationalize fundamental desperation, which is like this two-way desperation. Both sides are desperate. That's not balancing out the scales. You have to level your side, and so the other side can then compromise and say, okay, that's balanced. So like the vehicle of the future is, when you start talking sociology, it's like really sort of, yeah, you know, it's negative. You know, you're looking. So you always want to go into the tower of power. So the bottomless pit of sociology and the tower of power of engineering and design. So we have all this junk, all, you know, real estate bubbles, a million cars, traffic jams, people don't understand what's going on, you can't clean anything. So this is why this theory-based uh, future series of inventions, like the vehicle of the future. Okay, so basically it is basic. Basically it is. That's it. It's like, goes, stop! You're driving a million miles an hour. I think 5% of the population should be able to race like mad dogs. 5% of the time. The rest of the time, like 10% of the time, the convoys, all people taking, you know, where's my pizza, you know, that's coming in the convoy. There's not some throttle happy kid delivering it. It's being delivered by machines that don't get fundamentally nothing up like that. They just do the machine work. They do, you know, like this computer, it doesn't have to. Okay, so you know, having psychology through sociology. So this is the vehicle of the future. As I was trying to get at, it's like a hospital, but without the doctors. If you're not nice to them, they'll throw a house at you. You know, they'll get nutty and stuff like that. You know, it's like, Professor Moriarty. Let's see here. You know, but and this is the future. Okay, this is high-tech future. Doctors running my family, but I realize that they can't understand beyond the Great Divide. Nobody can. It's a cultural, de facto, normative world. So there's like a normative conflicts that is, and it's in this new world. So there's fundamental confusion going on there. And it's not all fusion. I mean, it's not the first thing that Christopher Columbus thought, oh yes, the world is flat, so it's going to be fusion. You know, it's just going to fart, crash into China. It didn't happen. Okay, so there's like this problem to be navigated. And okay, so the vehicle of the future, because sociology is just that crazy, just poli-sci, you know. It's like, come on. Yeah, you start thinking, why can't I just buy some junk, you know? So this is what the vehicle of the future is, this box that is the box that it comes in, and it makes bigger boxes or small boxes. You take like 3 vehicle of the futures, and they could all be stacked on one vehicle, one axle, maybe 2 axles, maybe caster wheel to hold down. And you could assemble 3 vehicles out of that. They'd all be stacked in boxes. Or you could put them all together into one quite nice room, a module, real estate sort of post-construction paradise, because it's utterly simple. It's just pins and very simple materials. You beef it up, or you leave it as thin. Thin as paper. Quite handy. Quite handy. It doesn't fail on the computer. It's a blank sheet. I don't know if I have any new stuff here. I might have some new stuff here. But so it's probably not good. Okay, so the vehicle of the future is this basically hospital type of escape pod. Okay, so a lot of times some people that who aren't inherently sick, they're rather geographically sick and maybe sustained by that geographic sort of element. Excuse me. So this vehicle of the future is something that will basically solve these random accidents that happen, because you have like a machine grade system that's just going to work systematically, you know, basic. Looks like that's about a box. And so it's about having this vehicle will be, it's basically dimensions. It's really all about dimensions. I mean, I'm pretty tall. I don't like to think of myself as I'm not because I'm tall, or definitely, both my grandpas were taller than me, and I'm almost 6'4". And so this is this functionalism thing that you don't really see. Just like fundamentalism, you don't see that, but it exists in cultural sort of intentions and stuff like that. So that's where nature comes in, where you can really say, okay, what is the problem with nature? And keep respect and nurture hope, because that's kind of how it works. If you don't nurture, if you're not in the right place to nurture it, there's no nurture. That's really negative. So the vehicle of the future, it's basically this box. You could you wouldn't have like traffic lights. You wouldn't have traffic jams. You wouldn't have to park the vehicle of the future. That is a major win, because you would just drive up to wherever you're going. It would drive you, and you pre-select your location with some sort of randomness for security and discovery and fun and stuff like that. It's not all about security. That's not jobs. But you would just get out of the vehicle, and it would go off and park itself. Very secure. You wouldn't have to walk up some crazy street. It would drive you home, right to your door, and then park itself. And so it basically, it's it kind of all sounds like sci-fi, fantasy, fiction, but it's quite simple. And the real element is to do this, to make the vehicle of the future work in the convoys, to make the massive efficiency and comfort and psychological comfort, no traffic jams, no parking, no chaos, you're always next to the person. The best way to do it is without electricity, no electricity. So the whole thing works um, just clockwork, basically. So, and you do the electricity one, but you have this backup, so that it would work just by having a clockwork schedule. So basically, this gets down to the big system of time. So I'm talking about um, in sociology, the normative, nurturing normative cultural responsibility affecting global peace in a very, very elusive way. Um, time in age, or that's why, that's why the word teen is there. It's not 12 teen or 11 teen. 12, 13 people hit puberty, and that's when they have to find love, and that's a normal thing. So if they're not in the right place, they are screwed, and this can affect the whole community, society, nations, globes, world. Um, and we dare not see it. It's like utterly frightening to think, ET phone home. But basically, this is this age thing, and I've been quantifying this stuff and trying to. It's utterly polarizing stuff. The fundamentally acute sociology, where there's just it's a joke, really. You see someone who's in limbo, and you can't do anything about it. You can, but it's like utterly taboo. It's so far away that California to Europe, it was not possible to go there for even our founding fathers of America. It just was not possible to go there. So that's a very fundamental reality denominator. Creating cultural divides. There really is just geographic divides, and we have this transportation rat race trying to solve these problems. And so we need a fundamental thing that also recognizes the health benefits of the health vehicle, literally basic, putting all those concepts together into something that rolls smoothly. It doesn't serve like a log rolling down a hill, like a runaway limbo sociology. So it could be a joke, or it could be cruel. It could be sort of insensitive, sort of realities. But navigating people who are, and sociology, a lot of times the left wing sort of identifies with sociology. Oh, or the left, alternative people, and people want to smoke pot all day. But I want the right to understand this balance, this level balance. That if there are too many undesirable immigrants, they are a net as well. They are the fish out of water who will benefit by returning home. Okay, so this is how the left and the right are balanced. Okay, so and again, it's fundamental. So how negative, but no. If someone is not desired where they are, if they're not winning, if people don't want them to win, then they should be going back in this very timely, balanced way where, there's the new world, there's the new world. So like New York is the new world, and then San Francisco is the new world, or California. Keep it moral. That's what we see. And then there's the old world, wherever you're from. And manifest destiny. The only way to have faith, and I think this is where a lot of religions are like, they really have their finger in the cookie jar here. A net, try to keep it as simple as possible. A net is the system that will manifest faith. Okay, you bring a prime case to their old world at the right age, or to their geographic realm, their new world, not your new world, but their own new world. And for me, that would be New York, Florida, Wisconsin. At the right age, with the right purpose, these people bring the right trajectory, so sort of going into winter, basically, into love. That's and this is because it's nurturing cultural values, your own as well as the others from far away. So you're nurturing them by sending these normative primes to their culture. And I can't remember what I was going to say. I lost it. But it's very, it's just very fundamental. And we shouldn't think about it. We should just only feel the results. I think like I'm probably like you have to really go fast with these things. And you have to like write them down. It's like I said, special fast writing where you write half the word. And you have to tap it out. Like that's how fundamental equations sort of come at you. They're like a sudden breeze, and then they're gone. And you have to basically catch that theoretic philosophy poetically, not necessarily, but it could be fun, and so that's what I'm trying to do. And like if I were to go to I went to a psychiatrist like it's 10 years ago, and I told him about the vehicle of the future. I had built a little prototype. I had taken it apart or something. And he said, "Well, tell me about that." And it was sort of like that. He was trying to shrink my. Well, that's what they do. It's a shrink. Then it was like I had never gone to a psychologist before. It was just psychology. I was yapping, getting a bunch of women. And so, I felt like before I was like, this is my secret baby. It was my invention. I'm going to become rich from this and stuff. But the ideal is to make something so simple that it's virtually unpatented. It's not patentable. You can't patent it because it's so simple, so utterly basic, simple. Just something that's less than a heavy thought, where your mind can expand into other realms and you never even worry about how you're going to fix it because it's so simple. You can identify the components. Okay, so that's me, and I'm going to go really easy on this olive juice, I tell you. It's salty. And I'm thirsty. Okay. Thank you, and I hope I'm just gonna ramble on because I've been looking at my YouTube, and it seems that often a lot of it is missing. right? I'm pretty sure there's that, that scratchy sound, that sort of, I don't know what it is. It's a slight feedback, I don't know. But I'm missing a lot of that. I don't know what's making it on at all because my computer is so old. Well, it's abused actually. uh, um, but yeah, so I'll just um, talking about this sort of book story. It's almost like an epic folk tale or something like that. A Jules Verne's type of prediction, um, specification, but not in sort of your Asimov. What's that? Isaac Asimov. He talks about psychohistory. That's that's pretty heavy duty. Pardon me. Olives. No, but it's much more like basic, simple. It's like first grade math. Okay? Because by first grade, if you're not with the picture, not with the show, and you have a good nature, then there is a fundamental problem. And you can see that at least by age 10. You could, an expert could see it rather early, but by age 10 it's much more clear because children are ambiguous and they'll do what you tell them to do. But by age 10, people start to be much more clear. And by the teen ages, like 13, 14, you have to like act or else it's like a slow motion landslide that's happening that shouldn't happen. It shouldn't, if there's something on the hill that's coming down, you have to harvest that rather than wait for it to harvest you. That's, that's complete ignorance, and it's very tempting to be ignorant. It feels good to say, oh, there's no problems. Cognitive dissonance, you're just imagining there's a problem. You're crazy because you're an alien or something like that, Um, but geography exists. And if the existence is not positive, then there must be an exit, not an exodus, but it seems like that to the normative primes, the prime cases. They feel like they need someone to lead them away from their misery. This is purely cultural and geography, so they're not naturally miserable. They're nurtured in a miserably contrary environment, and it's mentioning the prime the case studies, the normative prime case studies of Annette advocating normative youth transplant, noticeably normative and nominal youth transplant. Well, it's either bringing wrath or it's bringing conspiracy, sort of sweet conspiracy. It's like, you suckers, It's like, harvesting the self-esteem, even though the nation is going, what the hell is going on here? Is this normal? I try to write stuff that I write on Facebook. I really, it's fun. Okay, it's fun. But it's only fun because I have to make it fun. I'd much rather have an audience, so or at least traveling to the audience. Okay, so hopefully the audio is enjoyable, and I've been having this horrible chair problem. I just switched. Sitting in this chair here, right there, it's like a 2x4 right there, right in my back. So because I'm tall, it like gets me. So I got this one pillow on there. I think it's alright. I can lean back. Yes. So who knows? But yeah, I'm like frozen. I'm desperate to like find where I should be, but my parents moved to California from the Great Lakes, near Chicago, for the international people, Chicago to San Francisco. And I grew up there, first generation. They moved there. Well, we moved to the West Coast when I was 4. There was a bunch of, southeast, Florida, Georgia, and a little bit through Mexico even. And but I was not happy there. But that was like a total contradiction to my parents. They're like, no, this is paradise. It's not cold. That's all that matters to them. It doesn't matter that, you know, the Donner Party people. It was colder than the coldest Minnesota winter ever there. Yes. And once you get to those tall mountains, suddenly you see that sort of wagon's escape. You go down to the beach in California, and you just see urchins. You just see like sand, crusty sand. And all these fantasies of like, ooh, I bet that's edible, You go up to the mountains. I lived in Big Bear Lake, and it's 98, and I went skiing every day for ski season in San Bernardino, Big Bear Lake, and at the eastern edge of the town, it started to turn into desert. So there's all these big ponderosa pines, huge, pincher wagon pine trees, and at the east end of the town, just a mile away, a flat mile away, you can see the high desert. You can see for miles, 50 miles or so, out into this desert, and you're up in these high mountains. And that was when I developed the courage to get out of America, off the continent of America for the first time. Not Hawaii, because that's still America, basically, culturally, basically. And then I went to Europe, and I was still under 30, and had this epiphany that Jesus, I'd been developing this epiphany from being on the East Coast in New York, Florida, for 3 years before that. 3 summers. I just went for the summer a few months each time, and maybe Florida for the winter ones. That it was just totally different from the Atlantic and the Pacific for a child who is noticeably, normatively different. Not normatively, but normative as in some sort of cultural reality, or geography, normative geography, normative prime, geographic normative prime. You get all these like equations. You can see how the poetry, because ambassador, ich bin ambassador ballistico simpatico, something cool, something really cool, really fantastic, but really fundamental, taking into account so much history and so much geographic exposure that very few people have. And especially the Wagons East thing, people go to the West and say, we are going to stay here, it's our destiny, but there's no faith there. Faith crumbles. And so you have to like exchange these things to get the Tower of Power to be smooth, not a pile of junk, Walmart, broken engine, a car that smells like toxic waste. It's like a really funny, sweet conspiracy. It's like, oh, your stuff sucks, But everyone suffers from that, pollution, confusion, a dysfunctional society, start thinking like, oh, I bet I could do this, And so it's just these people who are stuck in that limbo. That's the solution. That's the sweet conspiracy. It's like, oh, look at their stuff. But if they're not stuck, then the whole world can focus on the environment, nature, and nurturing that from the flow, it's like the yin and the yang, so that the vacuum and the energy coming from that vacuum as pressure, as positive pressure builds from vacuuming the negative pressures. It's just like a combustion engine or a steam engine. Very simple steam engine is a good analogy. Um, yeah, so I can't, I'm having difficulty focusing on that. And going up in this horribly hot room here, so there's a pollution just flows right in. So yeah, so I'm trying to navigate myself into a place that is economically respectable. But this is a sweet conspiracy, okay? I say like if you say like San Francisco, California, and World War II have a relationship, it's in the fact that places like England and Germany and Ireland and the whole sort of northern world, they want nothing to do with California. It's like the worst place. That's what they want to send their convicts there. They want them to stay there, and they don't want any faith. They want religion to die. Okay, they want faith to die. Who cares about religion? Faith. No, do you have any faith at all? And so that's for science. That machine, that filter that can say, "Oh, these are the gold nuggets. Do not look at them. They're very shy. They'll freak out. They'll like they'll wilt." Okay, and and yet they'll bring this sort of perspective, this perception that they're all lens. And you bring these rare elements that are systematically discovered, sort of this nurture, this utter nurture of cultural, sort of, it's you know, kind of like freak out there. It's like, you don't believe me. You never trusted me, did you? Yeah, yeah. It's just a joke, okay? You start laughing at the sweet conspiracy, and you start thinking, oh, whatever they're smoking, I'll smoke too. Um, but that's not the truth, okay? So the truth is science. The truth, you can't handle the truth, okay? Okay, thank you.